Alright, so today we're going to be talking about how Ukraine replaced all of their former Russian AKs with probably the best AK bullpup redesign I have ever seen. Alright, so I'm pretty sure we're all familiar with the AK at this point. 20% of all firearms are AKs, and not to mention we could probably all quote the line, say it with me now, a weapon so simple a child can use it, and they do. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start talking about 1991, the fall of the Soviet Union. We now see ourselves with a bunch of brand new, formerly Bloc countries just riddle the whole eastern side of Europe. And with that, we now have a bunch of brand new countries who now want to replace all their weapons. Just kind of a trend at the time, a lot of them did it. Now we can see like whole Germany, after the fall of the Soviet Union, they decided to basically create the G36 because this is Germany. They don't want to have to, adopt a Russian gun. Germans really good with guns, know how to make really good ones. Anyway, and we also have countries like Poland who they basically just took their old Tankel design and basically redesigned it to the Beryl, which basically the same thing. However, it takes 5.56 ammo rather than 5.45 ammo, so they now get free NATO ammo with that. But when it came to Ukraine, what they decided to do is take their old Russian AK-47s and basically turn them into a redesigned version of it. And the first attempt at this was the Vepr around the early 90s, and it was probably the most promising design they had for a while. However, it never really took off the ground. They almost had a mass production release of it, but the thing is, a lot of the ones that exist now are basically just hand-fit prototypes because it just never reached the full production stage of it. So that was kind of a scrap, and around 2005, Ukraine came back to IPI and asked, yo, we want to modernize all the AKs. And IPI responded with, okay. So we then find IPI around 2005 to 2015 basically redesigning the Vepr for what it was beforehand, and then officially creating the Malyuk, released in 2015 and formally adopted by the Ukrainian military in 2017. Okay, so with the history being said, let's go ahead and talk about what all did they do to improve the AK. So for starters, they basically just try to do all the other modern trends that a lot of people do, basically just slap Picatinny rails on it so you can add optics and stuff like that, which to be fair, kind of a misconception with a lot of AKs. A lot of people just say, hey, you can't really mount optics with them. Really, you can. It is a lot harder than, let's say, like an AR-15, but compared to like some guns like the G3 or even the MP5, significantly easier. Like, I mean, you have the hinged dust covers, which are kind of my favorite versions of mounting optics on AKs, and even then, for the longest time, you have the little night sight, little side rail you can add to your AK. So there are plenty of different ways to do it. Even like Midway, they're starting to come up with different chassis, so it's not really that the world's biggest problem that an AK can't mount an optic, but, redesign the whole AK to be the Malyuk, needed an optics mounting solution. And another thing they did, they also redesigned where the charging handle was, so now you have a front charging handle in front of your face, so it basically just makes it easier to charge the gun whenever you're shooting it. And one of the biggest redesigns they have over the old AKs are basically 50% reduced recoil. I don't exactly know how, but they basically just touched up the gas system to where it vents in different locations, and pretty much what they managed to do is reduce the recoil by 50% compared to the normal AKs. And one last thing, and the most impressive thing, is a magazine release. Alright, so on AKs you typically have a rocket-like magazine, which basically means is you have to get the first part of your magazine into a little lip and then you rock it in and it locks in. So that's basically just how they do it though. And it sounds simple, but a lot of people, especially first-time users, do have a little bit of issues with it though. It's not as simple as like an AR-15 or even a Glock or most modern pistols where you can just hit a button and the magazine either drops and all you just need to do is shove it in there. You don't even have to push the button to shove it in, it just clicks in there. And that's most modern firearms though. However, whenever the AK was designed in 1947, they didn't really have the solution. Although it is a very reliable magazine though, and it does perform really well in like cold weathers, it is still a little unuser friendly. And whenever the Malyuk they were designing, the Malyuk, what they decided to do was put a magazine release in. So how it works is you basically just, to release the magazine, you have to hit the trigger. No, not the firing trigger, the second trigger behind the firing trigger that releases the magazine, because, you're never going to swap those up in the heat of combat. It is all fun and games until you ND into comrade trying to take out a magazine and making a big old brawl of brain spaghetti. But, you know, I guess that's just a different problem for a different day for some folks. Alright, so now that we kind of got all the features out of the way, I guess let's just talk about AK bullpups in general. Because the problem is, though, and the reason why I say this is the best one is because not a lot of them are good. They all kind of suck. I mean, I already explained how the rock and lock magazines work. Imagine having to do that not in front of here where your hand's naturally going to go, having to do that back here. It's already pretty uncomfortable to do that on a normal button magazine. It's even more so with a rock and lock where you have to like lift the gun up, hit the tab to release it, push it out of the way, get another one in there, and rechamber it. You know, that is a little over encumbersome though, and it's probably why not a lot of people like them. However, again, the Malyuk manages to fix this because what it does is a, you know, button magazine release. Even though there are a little bit of red flags with it, it is still a lot better than just having to sit there in the trenches, all of a sudden just gunfire's hitting above you, and you're sitting here just trying to fix your magazine like, oh no, I can't get it in, it needs to get in, oh no! Versus, okay, I'm just going to put this magazine in there, take that out, put it in there, and we're good. A little bit easier. Alright, so that's basically all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like and comment and share with some friends. And I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.